All right. It's great to be here. Thank you, Bulgaria, for inviting me. I'm having great fun. It's a great honor to be the opening keynote speaker at the very first Business Agility Conference here. No matter how many failures I have, at some point on my tombstone, it will say, I was the first speaker at the Business Agility Conference. Nobody's going to take that away from me, ever. So very happy with that. Indeed, I'm Dutch, which also means I'm very happy to be in this room, which is the Maxima Aula, which is apparently named after our Dutch queen, Queen Maxima, I assume. And I'm having a great fun here in Sofia. Actually, I am quite impressed. I'm impressed with some things. Like in my hotel, which is a very strange hotel. I can tell you stories about that in the breaks. But there is on the reception desk there is a tablet that says "Order taxi here," and there's just one button, and you press the button. The taxi is there 5 minutes later downstairs. Whoa! That rarely happens in hotels. So yay, good job there. And also, I took from the city center. I took the metro on the way here, and it was just scanning my phone. And then the access gates open. Whoa! That's what I expect from where I live in the Netherlands. But usually, when I go to other countries, I have to lower my expectations. But this is awesome. So thank you, Sophia. Good experiences. Good experiences so far. So this talk is about experiences. What is your preferred experience? I'm gonna give you an example with music. I'm the kind of person, I have a really bad taste in music. Okay, I'll explain. I like 80s electronic disco. Nothing else. So that's Modern Talking, Pet Shop Boys, Dan Harrow, Italian, German, whatever, European disco from the 80s. I only listen to that, basically, and a bit of 90s. I usually try to find some local music when I travel. I did my digging around Bulgarian disco music from the 80s. Nothing. Where were you on the international stage? I couldn't find anything, so apologies for that. But anyways, when I was young, when I was 14, 15, 16, that was the mid 80s, I had to travel on my bicycle to the city center for half an hour to go to the record stores and go through all the crates of the new 12 inches that were imported from Italy or from Germany to see whether whether a new maxi single from Eddie Huntington. Nobody knew who that was, but I knew because I loved that music. And I was so happy with that record. And for me, that is part of my music experience, that I have to make an effort finding it. That is part of the joy. I understand there are lots of people, Swifties these days. Taylor Swift or something like that. You press a button and you can hear her music. Boring. It's boring. I want to make an effort finding things. This is also why I switched from Spotify to YouTube Music, because Spotify has only record labels that offer their music to Spotify, but YouTube, anyone can upload anything. So you can find those very rare records that people have in their garage and that they upload to YouTube semi-legally, I assume. Somehow someone is getting paid, but not sure if it's the right person with the adverts. And but that means that I can find much more and I can make an effort there. For me, that is the joy of music. And it's also why I wrote an article a couple of years ago that said, Agile is a race to the bottom. What do I mean with that? Well, it's not always about giving what people want faster, because sometimes that destroys the experience. It would make it boring if I could get anything I want right now at the touch of a button. Someone said there's nothing as boring as abundance of stuff. We like things that are rare. We want to wait 3 months for a 3-star Michelin-rated restaurant because that is part of the anticipation. We have a word for that in Dutch, actually. It's called voorpret. It is the joy of anticipation, looking forward to your restaurant visit in 3 months that you have to wait for. You cannot get it now. That is part of the fun, right? So Agile is not always delivering things faster. And that has been my fight to some extent with some people in the Agile community, because there is this idea that with Agile we have to deliver stuff all the time to customers. For example, in the Scrum guide, it says an increment is a concrete stepping stone toward the product goal, and each increment is additive, and in order to provide value, the increment must be useful. So Scrum assumes that you deliver an increment every sprint. There has to be something offered to the customer that is potentially usable, that they might actually start using. That is an idea in Scrum, captured in the Scrum method. And it's actually there in the Agile Manifesto itself. The first principle, our highest priority is to satisfy customers through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. So there's an assumption here that customers will be satisfied if we deliver stuff more frequently, faster. Well, that is an assumption that does not always hold true. It's not always the case. I'll give you examples of that. So we call that incrementalism. There's a Wikipedia page about that. Incrementalism is the method of working by adding to a project using many incremental steps. And that's very often the right approach. I'm not criticizing it. I'm saying often, but not always, this is a good thing to do. Deliver more often to clients. But not always is the key. For example, they also tried that with the Sydney Opera House. The Sydney Opera House is known as one of the worst project management disasters in the world, in history. Because they planned for this to take 5 years. It took 14 years, and it was 1,400% over budget. Whoa, that's a lot. And in this book, How Big Things Get Done, great book, by the way, about how traditional project management is basically should become agile product management, but I will leave for you to read. They describe what went wrong. They had just a drawing of the architect, Jörg Utzon, who participated in a contest for the new opera house. They saw a picture of what he wanted to make, and the jury was like, whoa, that looks fantastic. We want that. And they practically started digging the very next day. They started erecting the walls. Oh, just let's deliver stuff faster. Let the architecture emerge while we make this building. And then halfway they discovered, we actually don't know how to make those petal-shaped roofs. They had no clue. They never done that before. But the walls were already there. And they literally had to tear down things that they had already built to start from scratch and do some proper calculations on computers and everything. So this was delivering stuff too fast. It makes no sense. Why would you do that? Because you cannot organize half of an opera in half of an opera house. That makes no sense. The whole opera house will have to be complete before you can organize the first opera. There are many projects and products like that. Not sure if anyone has ever built a train tunnel. You can make a train tunnel segment by segment, and then that would be continuous delivery of tunnel segments. But even if you've delivered 99% of the train tunnel, you still don't have a tunnel. You just have a very long and expensive dead end. It's only a tunnel when it's done, right? And many projects are like that. There's no value. Even if you've done 95% of the work, there's no value. Zero is just sunk cost until the entire thing is ready. So I was thinking of a word for that, and I couldn't find it. So I made up my own word. Culminationism, because culminate in the English language is something that happens after a while. Like The birth of a baby after 9 months, that's the culmination of a very long, intensive project. No personal experience there, fortunately. A train tunnel, the digging culminates in the first train finally going through the tunnel. So I like the word culminationism. I made it up. But it is the method of working toward a big launch. There must be a big launch. There cannot be multiple small launches. That just makes no sense. And with movies, it's the same. I loved Dune 1 and 2, the recent renditions of the Dune franchise. I very much look forward to the third movie. But it's going to be one big launch once they're ready. They're not going to deliver 20 increments of 10 minutes. That's not a good experience. I'm not going to go to the cinema 20 times with a Coke and popcorn to see the next increment of 10 minutes. Who would do that? That's ridiculous. So yeah, that's going to be a big launch. So the opposite of incrementalism is culminationism, in my opinion. And I ask the people in the Agile community sometimes, what is the opposite, do you think, of delivering things faster? And then they say, waterfall, shh, bad. No, there's something more going on. There are more options. I will show you there are more options than just that false dichotomy of agile versus waterfall. There's more flavors than that. But first, let's talk about experience a bit more, because that's important. Where's my bottle of water? I put a bottle of water there. Oh, thank you so much. So, you sneaky bastard. So, so what is a good experience when it comes to hotels? Oh, I can tell you hotel stories. My God, I can spend days telling you hotel stories. One time, I was going to Germany. I think it was to Munich or something. It was an event on Thursday. And on Tuesday, I got a message. What time will you arrive in Munich? And I was like, what time will you arrive tomorrow? They said. And that was a message on Tuesday. And at first, I got a heart attack. I thought this was the organizer of the event asking me what time I would arrive on Wednesday. And I thought, do I have it wrong? I thought it was on Thursday. So I went through my messages. No, it's on Thursday. Oh, okay. Then who is this? Who is asking me what time I arrive tomorrow? It turned out to be the hotel. What time do I arrive at the hotel tomorrow? Who cares? You're a hotel. You have a reception. You're supposed to be open all day from the check-in time, which is 3 or something, until after midnight, whatever. So I told them, I will be there when you see me. Then I will be there. Because if I have to figure that out, I have to know what time does my plane land, how long does it take for a taxi to get to the hotel. I have to do calculations for the hotel. Why would I? It's not in my own interest. I don't care. But of course, it would be different if they said, if you tell us what time you will arrive, we will have a free virgin cocktail waiting for you. Oh, then it's different. Then I might make sure that I have an accurate estimated time of arrival for my free cocktail, right? That changes the experience. And then sometimes with the fancier hotel, sometimes organizers, particularly when faraway places, they think I need to be treated well, so they give me a 5-star hotel. Then I arrive, and then someone grabs my luggage and puts it on a trolley. I'm like, give that back. It's my baggage. No, I'll take care of that for you, sir. Why? I traveled 5,000 kilometers on my own, with my own luggage, in taxis, on airports, on trains and buses, and baggage carousels, and so on. And you think that for the last 50 meters, I need help? Are you insane? And then I have to pay them too for the last 50 meters. As if it's something that I enjoy. And this happens also sometimes. Then I'm in my bed, in my hotel room, reading a book, and there's knock, knock. No, go away. Knock, knock, go away. Knock, knock. Oh, for Christ's sake. So, okay, I get up, I make myself decent, go to the door, and then they said, is there anything else we can do for you, sir? And then I said, yeah, I would like a box of matches so I can set this hotel on fire. Oh, my God. And then I wondered by myself, Jurgen, why are you being such a diva when it comes to hotels? I thought about that, and I thought, what I want the hotel to be is I want it to be my second home. And nobody bothering me with stupid services that I didn't ask for. Just leave me alone. I want a good bed, good shower, and that's it. That's all. And my current hotel has that in Sofia. Although it's a bit weird. So, and that's important to understand what is the experience that your customers want. New products succeed not because of the features and functionalities that you try to offer to your customers, that you try to shove down their throats. No, it's because of the experience that you are enabling. And I'm the kind of person who likes a quiet hotel, good bed, good shower, that's it. I was recently in Paris. It was a great hotel, but they had a party going on in the reception area. I was trying to drink my coffee and read a book, but it was practically a discotheque where I was sitting. So, okay, fine. They cater apparently to a different kind of clientele. Not me. I'm 55, for God's sake. I'm not interested in a party at 10 o'clock. I just want to read my book. So that's a different experience. And you need to understand what is the job to be done of your product or your service, no matter if it's a software product or a hotel or coffee that you're serving. What kind of experience are you trying to enable? How do you want people to feel? How do you want your customers to feel? A statement of what the customer is trying to achieve in a given situation. I want to have a second home in Sofia for 3 nights. That is my home for 3 nights. Give me that. That's the experience that I want. No people knocking on my door asking if I want another service. Because back home, my spouse is also not doing that. Just leaves me alone when I read my book. So the job to be done is a concept from another community, the job to be done community, but we can learn a lot from them. They have, as the example, the drill. Why do people buy a drill? I bought a drill for the first time in COVID times because, I was home, nothing to do. So I started working on my house and I had to put up some paintings and stuff. So, yeah, I bought a drill. I felt very masculine, putting holes in everything. What did I want? I did not like the holes, I can tell you, in my walls because I just painted them. But I did appreciate having my photographs of vacation pictures on the walls and things like that. So the job of the drill is to have people enjoy their home, to express your lifestyle or to enjoy your paintings and pictures and things like that. That is the job. You probably have to ask why a couple of times. Why do people use this product? And when you get to a feeling, then you found your job to be done. I love this quote by Reed Hastings of Netflix. He said, "We compete with everything you do to relax." That's it. That's the job of Netflix, to help you relax. That's a feeling, right? You have a moment to spare. There's nothing else you want to do. Thank God the children are in bed. Thank God you finish your work, answer your emails. I have half an hour to myself. You open Netflix or any of the other streaming apps. You relax. That's the feeling. So we compete with video games, he said. We compete with drinking a bottle of wine, although I think you can do that at the same time. Not sure. That's a tough one, he said. We compete with other video networks. We compete with playing board games. They compete with Sudoku. Anything that people do to relax. That is the competition for Netflix. Steve Jobs said you got to start with the customer experience, the feelings, and then work backward to the technology. And you cannot work with technology and then figure out how you're going to sell it. What feelings can we create with this technology? That usually doesn't work like that. It is possible, but it is rare that you will succeed. So there are a couple of tools that you will encounter in the Agile community. The product vision board by Roman Pichler, for example, that helps you craft your vision for the product that you're making. So you see that the persona, the kind of person, their pains and gains, the value of the product, but the feeling is not addressed here. There's no job to be done. There's another one, the value proposition canvas is popular among other people who are into the business model canvas. Some of you may have heard of the business model canvas. There they have the value of the product, the pain, the gain, and the customer job right there. What is the customer's job that we're trying to achieve? What is the feeling that we are after? And here's another one that I found, the jobs to be done marketing canvas. Again, over there you find what is the context of the situation. Well, finally, the kids are in bed. Thank God. What is the value? Oh, TV series and shows and movies, etc. And what is the feeling? Relax. Finally, at the end of the day. That is the job to be done. Think about that. I offer the unFIX model, which is a pattern library. If you're interested, you can go to unFIX.com and you find lots of patterns. And one of the sets is the vision of the experience, that it allows you to think about that. What is your persona, the kind of person or the context, the situation in which they have a pain or a gain, the value proposition of your product, and the feeling. How do you want people to feel? What kind of hotel do you want to be? Do you want to be a party hotel? Nothing wrong with that, but I don't want to be your customer. But other people want to, that's fine. I want another kind of hotel for retired people, perhaps, that want to sleep at 10. That's my category. I have other examples for you. I was once in China at a company called Hire, a long time ago. I still looked young back then. I met Mr. Zhang, the CEO, and China is famous for having reorganized themselves into 4,000 separate little businesses, micro enterprises, they call themselves. Small units that decide for themselves what they want to offer, what kind of products they make. And they collaborate and compete in that big network that is called Hire. So they barely have any management layers, just 2 layers of management. Traditional companies would have 13 layers of management with 80,000 people. Hire has only 2 layers of management, that's it. So very much self-organized. There's one story I love that I heard was Hire makes equipment like washing machines, laundromats, TVs, etc. And they once got complaints from the rural parts of China that there were problems with certain laundry machines. And once they started digging into that issue, they found out that farmers in China were washing their potatoes with laundry machines. Why would anyone wash their vegetables in a machine meant for clothes? Would anyone care to guess? Would anyone care to guess? Do you have an idea? No? Why would farmers wash their potatoes in a laundry machine? Sorry? They have more potatoes than clothes. Yeah, probably. Sorry? The feeling, yeah, but what is the feeling? Oh, peeling the skin, yeah. But maybe, could be. Well, what the real issue here is that farmers can get a better price on the local market for clean vegetables. So they have to wash them. And then they saw that they were washing their clothes with a machine. Why am I doing this by hand? Why not throw them in the machine, see if that works? Well, it worked until the machine broke down. And then one of those 4,000 units at Hire saw this as an opportunity. Apparently, farmers want to feel that they are quality producers of vegetables, quality producers of produce, we say in English. So, okay, give them that feeling. They made an alternative version. They first prototyped with an existing laundry machine. They changed some parts so that it was less likely to break down with potatoes. And it was a big success. And I'm not sure if you could wash both your potatoes and your vegetables and your jeans at the same time. Maybe there was a switch that you had to dial. I don't know. But Hire is very fast at changing to such new concepts from the market. And Mr. Zhang, the CEO, is not involved. He doesn't decide. He's like, okay, whatever. Let the network do its job. Hire was also the first company that mass-produced face masks in COVID times because they were so fast responding to new opportunities. The government needs face masks. All right, we're going to make face masks. Never done that before. We'll figure it out. and they did it. So I love this quote by Mr. Zhang. He said, traditional brands focus on the upgrading of products, but we focus on the upgrading of user experiences. The experience is more important than the product. If you want more stories about Hire, you should check out this book, Startup Factory. Is by colleagues of mine, happen to be Dutch, but unrelated. Wonderful examples of how this company works. So when you're in the Agile community, you often come across statements and definitions like this of the value stream. The value stream is a set of actions needed to fulfill a value proposition from a request or an order to realization, delivery. But I've realized this is wrong, because Hire did not wait for a request from a customer for a veggie cleaning machine. Nobody asked for a vegetable cleaning machine, but it was something the market wanted, something there was a need, there was a feeling that farmers were after, and they detected this by looking at the problems in another product, a laundry machine, and then they saw an opportunity. So I think the value stream definition should be rephrased as a value stream is a set of actions needed to discover or deliver on a job to be done, from a signal to an experience. Which signals can we act on? Because not every customer sends a request. Very often they don't. But we can see the signals in the market and then act on those signals and aim for a better experience. And to do that, we have to run experiments. Jeff Bezos said, to invent, you have to experiment. Otherwise, if you know that something in advance is going to work, it is not an experiment. And many organizations, they really don't like the idea of running experiments, but this is necessary. Also in this book, The Invincible Company, to explore ideas systematically, you have to work through 2 iterative loops, shape ideas with business design, and reduce risk with testing. So the first loop is, you could say, what is the smallest thing that you can do to improve the experience? What kind of experiments and tests can you run to check the desirability and the usability of your product? Some people might see design thinking here, desirability and usability of your product. Some refer to that as the minimal marketable features. What is it that people would be willing to pay for? You don't actually have to deliver. You just want to test, discover what the market is interested in from the experience perspective. And then the other version is the riskiest assumption test. I like that one, the RAT. It's the smallest thing you can do to reduce the largest risk. How can you make sure that you're not going to screw it up, the whole project? What is the first thing to do? They sort of forgot about this with the Sydney Opera House. They didn't do any RATs. No risky assumption tests. They just started building. The riskiest assumption was that they thought they would be able to figure out how to make those roofs, but they didn't. And they had to start all over. Very, very expensive mistake. Someone told me from Switzerland, where they know all about tunnels, how they make tunnels in Switzerland. Do you think it is by segment that they deliver them? No. What's the very first thing that they do when they make a tunnel in Switzerland? They make a very, very, very tiny hole through the mountain from beginning to the end. Just to see, to measure what kind of rock, what kind of stone will we encounter. Because the riskiest assumption is that we are able to get to the other side. Sometimes this is not possible. You encounter a kind of rock that you can't get through. That is something you need to test. That's the first thing that you have to discover. What kind of mountain is this when we start digging? So make a very, very small hole. That's the first assumption test. This is great. There's not, let's deliver the first tunnel segment. That would be stupid. You're going in the wrong direction. You'll be stuck. Good luck with that. Same as the Sydney Opera House. In this book, Creativity Inc., wonderful stories of how Pixar makes movies. They say the first 2 years of a movie's development should be a time of solidifying the story by relentlessly testing the story. They don't release anything. They're not even starting with the computers and the modeling of the characters. No, they first test, does this story work? Are people going to love this story? That's most important. So what do? They just act out the story with each other. And they have colleagues and employees in the room, and then they talk about the story. What would be fun? What would not be fun? Let's change this character. And they do manual drawings and on storyboards, etc. And only a year and a half later, they will start using computers to start making models of the characters. But the biggest risk is that you have a story that nobody likes. Who cares about the fluffy hairs on the creatures if people hate the creatures? So that is the first thing you need to test. This is called experimentalism, the belief that the way to truth is through experiments and empiricism. Everything needs to be tested because you just don't know. You can't know that you are able to dig through that mountain or that you're able to build those roofs. You have to run tests with modeling or whatever. And what would be the opposite? Well, that would be people who think they know it all. Think they don't need testing. And there's quite a few managers in that area, I'm afraid, I know from experience. They think they know it all because, hey, that's why they're managers. They're supposed to know it all, right? That's part of their position. They're be Mr. Know-it-all. The ivory tower syndrome, we could say. So that would be managerialism. It's the opposite of experimentalism. And now we can draw an interesting diagram, which might be the most important picture that you will see this year. So make sure that you understand it. I will get you through. I will explain each quadrant one by one. Let's start with number one. You know IKEA, right? I'm sure everyone here knows IKEA. Every store is the same. There are nearly 500 IKEA stores in the world now. They're practically everyone is the same. You walk around, you don't even know if you're in Sofia or London or whatever, because it's all basically the same. That's part of the experience that they want. That is part of the concept. So when they're going to build store number 501, they don't need to do any discovery, not much. It's just traditional project management is fine for that kind of project because they know it already. They've done it 500 times earlier. And there's not going to be a continuous delivery of departments to customers. No, there's going to be a big launch day. So this is culminationism and it is managerialism. This would be traditional project management. We already know everything about the project. There's very little to discover. And there's going to be one release date. There's nothing wrong with this kind of projects, but this is only one quadrant. Quadrant number two would be the serial kind of projects, like the guy who makes coffee over there outside. Every time there's a delivery of an espresso or an Americano, sadly no cappuccinos. I tried. He had no cappuccinos, sadly. But this is how a coffee store works. And every time you deliver a coffee, that's an opportunity for feedback. So you can learn. Oh, this cappuccino was too strong, or this one was, the milk was too hot. So you might improve how you make your coffees. That's good. You learn from that feedback. But you already know what people want. Cappuccinos, lattes, espressos, the whole thing. That's known. Nothing new to discover. And then number three is completely the opposite. Now we don't know what customers want. What kind of story would they like? We have no idea. What kind of characters do they like? We don't know. We have to discover everything. So you're in a continuous loop to discover every part of the story, every part of the project. Can we dig through this mountain? We don't know. We'll have to test. Can we make these roofs? We don't know. Let's do some computer modeling, etc. That's three. But it is culminationism because there will be one release. We're going to release the movie only once. We're going to deliver the tunnel only once. The opera house There'll be major opening nights. Only one release. There's nothing wrong with this kind of project, but it requires a lot of iteration on the design. And then finally, quadrant 4, this would be true traditional Agile. What Agile was all about. Incrementalism and experimentalism at the same time, as Scrum does. We deliver all the time new stuff to customers, and we discover as we are building our software, because every software product is intrinsically unique. So yeah, you do it both. That is the ideal situation. That's perfect if you can do that. It's perfect if you can be in quadrant 4. But please, please, please don't tell anyone that if you're not in quadrant 4, you're doing waterfall bad. No, because waterfall is quadrant 1. But there are 2 other options. It's 2 and 3. There's nothing wrong with 2 and 3. Because I sometimes call 2 and 3 soft Agile, while quadrant 4 is hard Agile. This is the Agile Manifesto is number 4, is quadrant 4. That's why the Agile Manifesto is continuous delivery, and we learn all the time for customers, and that's ideal. But tunnels don't work like that. Tunnels will forever be in quadrant number 3, I'm pretty sure. And same with movies. And same with computer games, by the way. Most computer games, they're released only once, because you have only one chance at a good impression with game players. And if they don't like the game in the first 2 weeks, you lost. So better make sure you have a fantastic release. And all the iteration before release happens on the inside at the software company. So that would be soft Agile. Some of you could say, I would even agree, that is traditional Agile, but soft Agile is business agility. Business agility is everything except quadrant 1. Business agility is understanding that sometimes we are so uncertain about the feeling that we are trying to create for customers, we have to do a lot of testing, a lot of iteration. We're not releasing anything. We're just running tests, experiments with the feeling that we're creating. Or sometimes it's just delivering what we have more often in smaller chunks so that there's earlier value. We already know what they want. We just make sure that we can cut it up and deliver parts sooner. That would be quadrant number 2. It's also great. So we have to observe customers like investigators, like private eyes. What can we learn about our clients? Because I don't care about your product, I care about my experience. I'll give you one other example. Half a year ago, is anyone here working at a bank? Any people at a bank? I hate banks. Sorry, nothing personal. Nothing personal. I was with a Dutch bank for, I think, more than 40 years. I left them. I was so angry because they blocked my account because they said I had not delivered my passport information in time. I never received a message. And they claimed that they sent me 4 or 5 messages and they never responded. I never received one. And then they just blocked all my money. I was so angry. So I left them. I think don't treat your customer who's been with you for 40 years. You don't treat them like that. So I went to another bank. I opened a good reputation in the Netherlands, other Dutch bank. I downloaded the app, and the app looked modern and fancy, and I filled out all my information, my name and birthday and address, and I scanned my passport, chip and everything, and submitted. And then the app said, successfully submitted, and please wait, within 24 hours, you get your bank account. I think, why do I have to wait 24 hours? This feels old. I mean, it's just a record in a database. Give it now. But okay, fine, I'll wait 24 hours. 3 hours later, I got an email message that said, sorry, something went wrong. What went wrong? I want to know what went wrong. If every time I hear something went wrong, I think a product owner somewhere should lose a finger, okay? What went wrong? I don't know. I had to call the help desk. So I called the help desk, and the lady said, "Oh, we're so sorry, but we can take you through the application process right now." I said, "No, I want you to find the application that I already submitted." She couldn't find it. But I said the app said it was successfully submitted, so you have it. Somewhere at the bank, you have my application. "I'm so sorry, sir. I'm not able to see that in our systems, but we can do it right now." I said, "No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to start all over because 15 minutes of my time wasted. And if you lose my passport details, I'm not going to give you my money." Because the feeling I want to have with the bank is that I can trust them with my information. If you lose my passport, goodbye. I will not be a client. That should be obvious, I think. Well, me being the diva that I am, of course, I complained about this on Facebook immediately. And credits to the bank, they replied within 15 minutes, the social media department of the bank replied, "Oh, we're so sorry to hear about this problem." And then the golden question, what happened? Well, just look in your customer service data. I just called them 20 minutes ago. "You have my name?" "Yeah, I'm so sorry, but I cannot look into that system." Well, that is the problem. You have an app department, and you have a website department, and you have a customer service department, and you have a social media department, and none of them have any freaking clue what the others are doing. And I suffer. It's me suffering as a customer, making me tell the whole story again and again to different people and submitting my information again to different departments. Screw you. I'm going elsewhere. So I went to another Dutch bank, a modern Dutch bank. I applied for a bank account. I had it in 1 minute. And I could make my first transaction 30 seconds later. And I was like, yes, this is how it could work if you do your best. So this is the challenge for anyone who wants to be more agile, anyone who wants to move into that territory of business agility. You have to run more experiments. Figure out first, what is the kind of feeling that we want to create? I think as a bank, you want people to trust you. You have their money. It's sort of obvious that you want people to trust you as a bank. And with everything that they offer you, including the passport details. If you're a hotel, well, you have a choice. What kinds of customers would you like? The ones who like a party in the reception room hall, or the ones who just want to read a book, or the ones who want to be able to order a taxi with one button? Ooh, I like that. Maybe different kinds of customers. That's okay. Then you segment. And there are hotel chains doing that. They have different kinds of hotels for different kinds of travelers, business travelers, families, and so on. I don't want children in the corridors. It's another kind of hotel. So figure out what is the feeling that you're trying to create, and all of that in a world that keeps going faster, because the pace of change keeps moving up. Everything that an organization does should be in the service of accelerating its innovation rate. And whatever you think of Elon Musk and Tesla and X and whatever, and all the other things that Elon Musk is doing, there's one thing he's doing right. He's trying to accelerate the pace of change, the pace of innovation for his companies. I mean, NASA completely failed. SpaceX made all the difference now with more and more and more releases of rockets, faster delivery of stuff into space. They rule the market now in the US, not NASA. There are people stuck now at the space station. Who is going to get them? SpaceX, not NASA. If it was NASA, they would be there for the next decade. No, SpaceX is doing that because SpaceX understands what it means to be agile, to have fast releases, and understand what customers want. So I now define business agility as follows. For me, business agility is driving innovation and responding to change by continuously experimenting with better user experiences. The users do not care about products. I don't care about a banking app versus a banking website versus social media team, whatever. I want to be able to make a payment. That's it. Easily. That's an experience. So consistently exposing and reducing all risks while accelerating the pace of change. I hope that was useful to you. I wish you a fantastic day here at Business Agility Conference. And thank you for welcoming me at this very first event. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.